Hello and welcome to the Tavern Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. Today, I'm taking a peek at the Dungeon Master's Guide, first edition. I know I go into it a lot, as does Joe the lawyer. There's just a lot of things in here that either we played with, but not in the right way, or we totally ignored and overlooked. Now, today I want to look at page 16 of the DMG, and we're looking at aging. In order to establish the overall effects of age, it is necessary to establish a number of standard age brackets for each race of characters. When age category is established, modifiability scores accordingly, making each change progressively from young adulthood. All additions and subtractions being cumulative. The only ability which may exceed 18 due to age effects, unless age restricts this, is wisdom. Most adjustments are in whole numbers so that 18 strength drops to 17, even if it's from 1800, as exceptional strength is not considered. So, and then they give you the age categories for dwarves, mountain dwarves, elves aquatic, elf drow, elf gray, elf high, elf wood, gnome, half elf, halfling, half orc, and human. Now, especially with all these subcategories of elf, I thought the assumption was initially funny before the Unearthed Arcana that everybody was playing a high elf, because then we have the Unearthed Arcana, then you get all these additional subcategories of elf fully detailed. And I think that's when mountain dwarves were fully detailed. I think the default player character race is a hill dwarf. But in any case, you have young adult. Now, young adults subtract 1 point from wisdom and add 1 point to constitution. Now, let's assume that you're a human. A young adult can start as early as 14, as old as 20. Now, think about that. Okay? You're subtracting a point of wisdom, you're adding a point of constitution. Then you go to mature. You add a point of strength, and you gain 1 point of wisdom. So the wisdom is a wash once a human hits 21. But they get 1 point of con, 1 point of strength. Interesting, right? I don't recall really ever using that rule. I know we read it. And if we did use it, we certainly didn't use it progressively. If you started out as mature, you got that point of strength and a point of wisdom. We didn't wash out the wisdom and add the con. I can be damn well sure of that. Move on to middle age. Middle age is subtract 1 point or half of exceptional rating. Remember, up above, Gary tells you that 18 drops to 17, even from 1800, as exceptional strength is not considered. It's the last sentence of the paragraph explaining aging. And the first time that you lose a point of strength, it's mentioned that you lose a point of strength or half of the exceptional strength rating. You also lose a point of constitution, and you gain a point of intelligence, and you gain a point of wisdom. And that's middle age. Mature is 21 to 40. Middle age is 41 to 60. Now, when you get old, old for a human is 61. If you're listening to this and you're 61, don't get offended at me. I'm not the one that calls you old. Gary did. Old is 61 to 90. At 61, you lose 2 points of strength, 2 points of dex, and 1 point of constitution, and you gain 1 point of wisdom. Venerable. 91 to 120 years of age. Another point of strength lost. 1 point of dexterity lost. 1 point of constitution lost. But you add a point of intelligence and you add a point of wisdom. It's important to remember that adjustments cannot exceed racial maximums, nor can they be used if they cause abilities to exceed stated maximums. Likewise, any adjustments cannot lower any ability below racial or class minimums. Another interesting point. Now, that being said, let's move on to unnatural aging. Unnatural aging is aging from certain creatures which cause unnatural aging, and in addition, various magical factors can do so too. The following magic causes loss of lifespan, aging the practitioner as indicated. See also disease for other unnatural aging causes. Longevity potions and possibly other magical means will offset such aging to some extent. Casting Alter Reality ages you 3 years. A Gate spell ages you 5. Limited Wish ages you 1. Casting Restoration ages you 2 years. Casting Resurrection ages you 3. Casting a Wish spell ages you 3 years. Imbibing a Speed Potion 1 year. Under a Haste spell. Haste is, I think, third level spell. Could be fourth, I could be wrong. If you're casting that once a day on your party, in a week's time, they've aged 7 years. All right. Reading one of the above spells from a scroll or using the power from a ring or other device does not cause unnatural aging, but placing such a spell upon the scroll in the first place will do so. Now, one thing I do remember, and I don't see this in this little snippet here, is that while I do recall in one of my campaigns that we did enforce the age category. So again, we didn't enforce it as a starting character, but as time progressed, especially for magical aging. But the way we treated your magical age was that yes, your physical attributes get adjusted by magical aging, but not your mental ones. So getting older by magical aging suddenly does not make the magic user or cleric more wise. It just makes them more frail. I don't see that here. I'm not even sure where we got that from, but I do recall that. Now, when you think about the age limits, now, why would any cleric in their right fucking mind, because now remember, in AD&D, all player character clerics that could cast Resurrection would be human, and you would assume that would be the same for all clerics, because even the demi-humans, once you got Unearthed Arcana and allowed clerics to be player characters, they never reached the level where they could cast Resurrection. Resurrection spell ages you 3 years. If I'm going to take 3 years off of my life to bring somebody else back to life, it better be somebody important and not just some fucking jackass adventurer who got himself killed trying to, make some loot for himself. So you'd never, with that 3 year of aging, you'd never see a play character. Maybe I'd bring back a king with a resurrection spell. Obviously, Raise Dead isn't listed here, so Raise Dead didn't age you. But think about resurrection. Think about restoration. Okay? A restoration spell. 2 years off your lifespan. 2 years. Why would you? Why would you ever use a speed potion if you weren't an elf? Or be under a haste spell? Or want to be under a haste spell if it was life or death, not just, oh, this will make things easier for us. No, it better mean the difference between me dying and living because I'm giving up some of my life. I don't think that this is included in any of the clones that I can think of for the OSR. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. I'm sure somebody will point it out. Please do. Leave me a voice message. But, yeah, this is something that was always overlooked, and I think it's pretty much put to the side now when we game. All right. On that note, as always, thank you for listening. If you get a chance, and if you have iTunes or you're listening on iTunes, give us a rating. Give me a rating. Stay healthy, be safe, God bless, roll your dice well. And I will talk with you all tomorrow. Later, folks.